there are two things really important I keep in mind since I begin. First was humility. You are never the best. Maybe some days, but the day after, you have good days, bad days. You have to, we try, I push a lot. And the second thing is to be happy, to be happy with what you did, to enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Art in the Paddock, conversations with F1 photographers. My guest today is Mario Renzi. He has been working in Formula One for almost 30 years, from shooting on film to becoming one of only 3 photographers that are working directly for Formula One. Mario has seen everything, but more importantly, he sees Formula One differently. In this conversation, we talk about how the sport and the paddock have changed over the years, how he approaches his work, and what it really takes to create images that transmit what he is feeling when he is making those photos. If you enjoyed this interview, don't forget to like and subscribe. That is really going to help me grow this channel. Let's get into it with Mario Renzi. So how are you?
Ciao, I'm fine. And you?
Yeah, and I'm fine. A little bit early for me, but it's good.
I could imagine, jet lag is not on my way, for sure, yes.
So are you enjoying life in this break?
Yeah, always. We always need some rest and spending time with the family. It's very important because we are spending so many times traveling a lot. So when we should have this kind of opportunity, but I will not complain for sure because I'm home and I'm fine, and
Yes, exactly. All right, so let's go straight into the questions, Mario. So you've been working in F1 since 1997. That's almost 30 years, and you have experienced a lot of changes, a lot of different eras and driver dominations, engines from V10s to V8s to V6s, the hybrid. But you also went through a transition of ownership in Formula One. What would you say has been the biggest change that you have experienced as a photographer working for Formula One?
First, I will tell maybe the number of photographer. When I start in 97, if I remember well, maybe permanent photographer was quite around 130 photographer from different countries.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of Japanese photographer.
Yeah.
So I will say, maybe the family changed a lot. The family, the diversity, the way we used to work. For me, technical step was because in 97 I was still doing some analogic.
Yeah.
Fuji Velvia 50, huge amount of films in my suitcase. Spending time was when I was turning back from the Grand Prix, just developing and have a look to my slide, And so when I start to swipe with a digital camera, was already a huge step. And if I remember well, maybe I was the last one using analogic at this time.
Yeah. Do you remember how many films you would bring to a race? Many rolls?
If I remember, I get to deal with Fuji. So hopefully for me, the film was free. And I get to deal with the laboratory too. So I would say I get a maximum film I could use. But I think approximately 30 rolls, something like that, 30 rolls. And if you could imagine when you get the click, it was 36. No, per second. It was 36 in total one. So you have to think about that. And when I start in digital, I was already keep in mind, so just to go slow and not to do. So I think, everything is I think you, even if you get more click, as I was still thinking about what I'm doing, and the proper frame I will do. So it was not by economy. It was just because it was the way I used to work. I start with architecture images, architecture photography. I will tell you after when I start and the way I do. But that means I start my job by composition, the light, the color, and to get proper image, not cropping, just to get the shot I would like to do. So I think it was the different way to work in photography. Yeah.
And when you change from analog to digital, and now, for example, how many photos do you get usually per weekend?
Depend the focus, depend if I'm doing more track images, more, because in fact my job is not only to get shot from action. So my job is to get a key shot of all the weekend, and to get different, different subject. That's mean the car, the emotion, close up of the driver, sometime nice looking people. That's mean everything people are thinking about when you say Formula One. What does it mean for you? It's a huge place, with it's not just sport on action images. It's
people.
Yeah, exact. And I try to do the most emotional picture I could. So I'm free to catch what I'm looking for, and if the light is there, if the subject is okay, I will do so. To answer to your question, depend the Grand Prix, depend exactly maybe the forecast, because as you know, sometimes when when it's cloudy or when it's raining, we are doing maybe different, and so depend the
But
weekend.
is it on the 15,000 photos per weekend? Is it
No,
much less?
no, I think less than that. I could the only thing I could say is for me the results. I try to produce approximately 350 image per weekend, different images. That's mean not different cars on the same corner. So that's mean So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
But how? Okay, so that is one change. That is one change in terms of technology and the way you press the trigger. What else has changed significantly in all this time? You mentioned the number of photographers at the beginning, in how diverse it has become in terms of people from other countries. Probably also you didn't have many female photographers at the beginning, and now there are more.
Yeah.
How much has changed that environment in the paddock in the media center?
As you know, actually, we are more big agency, huge agency, less and less freelance photographer, for sure. That's a huge, big change. As you said before, when I start, if I remember well, maybe one girl, maybe one or two, but it was not. It was quite exception, and the huge difference was the way to start. I think it was much more difficult to start in Formula One in '97 than today. I think young guys, young girls are more opportunity actually. They have it's a different job. I see when I yeah. If I have a look around in the paddock today, the way to work is totally different on mine. When I start, that means they are more involved in social media. They are more involved, on celebrities. They are more involved on a fashion way. Yeah, I think
That's a big change.
the focus is different. Focus is
Yeah.
different. I think today young photographers are more looking for to get this kind of shot than maybe to get their own style, doing maybe racing photography.
Mm-hmm.
Some, well,
Yeah.
I'm in touch with young photographer. I really appreciate, and my time today is more to try to, if I could, help them or because when I start, I remember some older photographer. Some were kind, but it was rude. It was rude.
Mm-hmm.
So today I think
Yeah.
it's more easy. It's more
Yeah.
easy for them, just to be involved and to be accepted.
Yeah.
It was a very close community, and
Yeah.
if I could say, maybe for me, it took maybe more than 5 or 10 years just to be able to talk to some of these old men,
Yeah.
so yeah,
That is very true. Yeah, that's
yeah,
very true, Mario. I
yeah,
think that
yeah,
the current environment is much more accepting, and everybody is willing to help.
yeah.
So that, yeah, I
No,
completely
no,
agree
no,
with you.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm happy that it's more inclusive today,
Yes. Yeah.
I'm happy for that because diversity was not the proper word when I started in 97. For sure not. So that's
Mm-hmm.
a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But uh, when I start in 97 at this area, you have to show that you will be able to do something. I think today, I think it's different. Yeah, it's
Talk to
different.
me a little bit more about that, about when you started. So, who did you start working for? How did you get into F1?
In fact, as I said before, I was an architect photographer,
Yeah.
and one of my close friend, was Soel Ayari, was driving in Formula 3000.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he gets some sponsor, and he asked me if I will be interesting to get some shot or to do some shot, during European Grand Prix, my European weekend, because Formula 3000 was running on Saturday, and F1 was on Sunday. So I started like this, but I was not properly involved in sports or mechanics or Formula One at all.
So you didn't have
Uh,
any experience in
no,
sports. You were shooting
no,
architecture.
no, not
Wow.
at all. And
Uh-huh.
if I tell you the truth, as could imagine, if I remember well, maybe I start with a Hasselblad, you
Oh
know,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
903 CW. So it was proper architecture camera. It was not a
Mm-hmm.
sports camera. And I tried to get some picture like that. And step by step, I was not doing a lot of money on this part of my job. I was still continuing with architecture, and you know, some people will say luck, but I will say you are not only lucky. You have to work a lot and
Yeah.
to make the proper choice at the proper moment. To when someone say maybe you could do that,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
You have to be
So
ready.
exact. So I
Yeah.
could tell about maybe the change between the Bernie era and actually I was maybe lucky to meet the good person at the proper moment, because
Mm-hmm.
when I start to work for Formula One, no photographer are working properly for F1.
So you were the
But
first one to work
uh,
directly for Formula One?
Bernie, I think Bernie was not properly interesting about to get official photographer. He used a lot of picture. He used maybe to work or to get some picture from agency. But the offer people did to me was proper new. So I tried. It was a huge test during few weekend. So I think was okay.
You passed the test. Yeah.
I passed the test, and I try not quickly, but season after season, just to say, okay, maybe it will be interesting to get this kind of access and everything. So, is the reason maybe today I got exceptional access, and I'm very comfortable, to work and to move, as you said before, for Formula One. So they are expecting a lot, but I'm free to move a lot. So
Well, let's go back, Mario, if you don't mind, to that weekend that you went to shoot Formula 3000 with your friend, and from there, how did it evolve into actually starting to shoot Formula One?
so the race, as I said before, Formula 3 race was on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We get a Tabart for support event pass,
Yeah.
and I was lucky that maybe one guy said to me, if you want to keep the Tabart on Sunday, just go around the track, and I remember well this person. Every time I saw him, I said, thank you,
Mm-hmm.
because, it's always the same. If someone didn't open, the door just to get you through, you stay at the front of the door, so that's the first step. So I was, I show my picture, and maybe this guy say, okay, maybe you could do something. So if you want to stay, and to be around the track on Sunday, I was doing my first picture like this. And at the end of the season, I show my slide to one editor, the Swiss editor. Look, he was doing a huge book, Formula 1 year book. If I remember well, he was selling the book in 34 countries. So it was a very nice edition. So it was
That's
my
the yearbook, Formula One yearbook.
Formula 1 year book. Right? It was Chronosport edition. It was a Swiss editor, and so at the end of the season, I was just bringing my slide to his office, and to make a selection, and we get a deal just for all the season. So it was the beginning of a proper job for me, And the next step of this one was with a Japanese editor, and Japanese, it was editor and photographer, Miyata-san. Miyata was doing 4 editions per year, F1 Sen. So he was looking for different style of photographer. So I get my first collaboration for him. And I get some opportunity in Japan to get some different edition too. And I start, step by step.
How were those photos, Mario, at the beginning that you took? I'm very curious because I like a lot. I mean, your style is amazing, but you have developed it obviously over the years. But how were those photos different than today? What was your style at the beginning? What were you trying to capture?
I think I was always looking for maybe something, contrast, colorful, powerful. For sure, if I tell you the truth, to be honest, at the beginning, I didn't get the proper material. I didn't get proper techniques. And the big difference from when I started and today, with social media, Instagram, it's very easy just to have a look, and to compare and to understand, When I started, the people was not looking to maybe the speed, the aperture of your, and you cannot share anything, Today you have a lot, on YouTube, you have a lot of, for young photographer, you have a lot,
Lot to learn,
to go straight, to go quick. But as if I make one remarks is that mean when I start, you just try to develop your own style, your signature. Today, I think a lot of young photographers are just looking what the older one
Others.
are doing,
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
Because at the beginning you didn't have probably a lot of references other than looking at books and other media, but now, yeah, they get so many photos everywhere, and it's difficult for them sometimes to develop their own styles, as you say.
Yeah, and not properly looking what the other one was doing, you talk about book, but today, you are on a track on Friday. If you did something good and you publish on Instagram on Saturday, you could have the same image doing,
By many
so
others.
for me, it makes no sense. Because there are two things really important I keep in mind since I begin. First was humility. You are never the best. Maybe some days, but the day after, you have good days, bad days.
Yeah.
You have to, we try, I push a lot. And the second thing is to be happy, to be happy with what you did, to enjoy when you did the picture, and when you saw the picture at the end, that's me. So it's for me, it's two engine, humility and
being happy,
to be
enjoying.
happy, enjoying what you did. So if you produce something different, or you try to do something different, it's more joy, it's more, so, and at the end, for sure, I'm paid for that. So,
Yes. So how many races were you doing at the beginning? Like those years, 97, did you start doing full season or?
Yeah, the European one. I didn't remember exactly in 97 how many European races, Grand Prix we get, but it was more than today, for sure, So, I think, maybe 12 or 14. Yeah.
And when did you start doing the full season? Was that until you moved to work directly with Formula One, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about that transition then. How did you get, you told me that Bernie didn't want to have a photographer there. He just wanted to get the photos, but didn't want to pay. So,
I didn't say he would not pay. He say,
no.
I think he was not properly, it was for him, photography or photographer was not such important that you could imagine from today. So I met the proper person just to be able to talk to him, and
And that was in year 2000 and
2009.
in 2009. Okay.
Yeah, in 2009. So I started in 2009, and
How was that change, Mario, in what you were doing before and how you approach your weekends, your work? Did anything change in how you approached what you were going to shoot, or?
not properly on my side.
Okay.
No. Um, uh, from the past year, I try to explain, and hopefully people understand very well that I need times, and the season is long, and when everything is, as I said before, the light, the moment, the emotion is there, I try to do my best to catch these images. But that means the key shot you are not doing, during all the season, I try to get the same level and the same thing on my production. So that's mean I'm quite free to do what I would like during the weekend, and I know, with the experience of the background, I know what I'm able to do on which Grand Prix. Podium are different, the environment are different. The track is different too. So, and I could not share my body, in 10. So, and running is not the best way all the time. Is not properly the best way to do something good. You have to stop and to think about. So, and as many photographers, I think I'm just thinking before the Grand Prix. I'm just thinking what are the
I've
scenario.
s- I've
Yeah,
seen you, Mario, when I'm walking, and sometimes I see you there, like you stop and you were going in one direction, but then you stop and you're starting to think like, oh, maybe that's not where I want to go, and you change direction, you go somewhere else. But just what you said, I just remember that I've seen you doing that, not
yeah,
just running around, but stopping and say, maybe I'm gonna have to do something else. I'm gonna change my direction and go
yeah,
somewhere else.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And I think the background, the year, season after season, you have some automatism. I don't know if I said properly the proper name. Yeah,
Yeah.
automatism. But you have even
You do
if you
some things in automatic, but
yeah,
then there,
yeah, but
yeah.
even if the press, the Grand Prix, the track, the paddock, everything. Uh, the, I would prefer to discover something new and to do something
Hmm.
new every weekend. So,
Yeah.
so it took times. It took times. Something it's fine, and something you could lose sometimes. But
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
not to be afraid to lose something. If you
Hmm.
don't try, you never
You'll
grow
never
up,
know. Yeah, you'll
and
never
you never
know.
grow,
And
and you never
yeah,
grow. When I
exactly. Yeah.
say I would like uh, to feel enjoyable and to that means you have to take some risk. It's not the
Yeah.
proper word, but that means you have to try. You have to try to
No,
do
it
so.
is. It is
Yeah,
taking risks. And I was just having a conversation last week with Gregoire Truchet,
yeah,
Pierre Gasly's photographer, and he was telling me, sometimes when he's shooting some photos that could be trivial, like when the drivers are walking, but
hmm,
he's experiencing, experimenting different, like trying to do panning with those shots. And it's just what you said, trying different things,
yeah,
because if you don't experiment, then you're always going to get the same things. You'll never
exactly,
grow, as you said.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Mario, something you said also about being very free, and I'm interested in understanding how you work on a weekend. Usually the agencies, people that works for agencies or publications, they get the shot list. They know where to go. They need to shoot the sponsor, this and this and that. How does that work in your case? How do you decide, or who tells you what to shoot?
I'm quite the same, except except uh, some unique requests, proper to a proper weekend, or I've quite the same brief for all the season.
Mm,
So that means I know the key shot, and that's what I try to catch during the all the weekend, during 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I could manage my time just to produce this one, and no. Uh, I still get
so
time. I still get time to do. I still get time to shoot in RAW. I still get time to edit, to produce, and to prepare. Take time for everything. That's the way I
mhm.
could still work. So yeah, except some special requests. Yeah. Um,
So pretty much the same, you would say. You say per season,
yeah. Yeah.
what is needed, but
Yeah.
you also, like you were saying before, you take a lot of shots of in the paddock. If there are gonna be any special guests, any celebrities, so you get a brief before, right? You know
Yeah.
who's gonna come and what
Yeah,
time.
no, for sure. As you know, I'm a Getty contributor, so we have a lot of. We are in touch about what should happen about the celebrities, who is coming to the paddock and everything. But so yeah, I know exactly what should happen, and same for the show, celebration show and everything. So I'm
Mhm.
in touch with the proper people just to know. exactly what should happen. So
how many people have the same access as you do? Like, is it you? I know Mark,
well,
Sultan.
yeah,
Who else?
we are three.
Three.
Yeah, three photographer. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, three
What's
photographer.
who's the other one?
Mark, the third one depend who is attending the Grand Prix or not.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Changes.
yeah.
Okay. So what are the things during this time, Mario, that, as you said, you have been consistently trying to keep the same approach to taking photos from when you started, right? The same kind of basic principles.
Yeah.
So, how do you build a picture in your mind
What do you mean exactly?
before you take a photo, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have something in your mind already.
yeah.
So what are the most important or the key elements that you always consider? And if something is not there, if the light probably, if it's not the proper light is not there, you say, I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm not gonna spend time here. I'm gonna try to find it somewhere else. What are those key elements that you are always trying to find to get the shots that you really like taking?
I think there are two different things. First, the action. So when the car are running, um, for sure, on different corner, the way that you saw the car. If I The huge example where less and less sparks with the car, but during night race, it's a key element just to understand and know exactly where the car, maybe are doing something. You can have a nice shot. So uh, that's maybe one point. Or the car maybe during the quali, the car are able to run out, and you should have something, something nice. Um, I'm always thinking about the result, the most aesthetic images.
Yeah.
Uh, People are not asking me just to show maybe the start with I have to do as well, but I think I'm always thinking about the light, and what I'm, the best way to show the speed. As you
Yeah.
know, it's sometimes it's difficult to make the people feeling really the speed for
Speed.
as a Formula One cars are incredible.
Mhm.
So and aesthetics, that's mean the color, the light. Uh,
So
when I
that, sorry, Maria, to interrupt you. I think that what you're also saying is you don't take many stock photos, right, of the cars in action. You're looking for the exceptional photos, the ones that transmit something else, something.
Yeah, and in January I try to be as close as I can. That's mean
Okay.
maybe what was the most difficult when I start in photography in general, except architecture, but portrait or action shot, is to understand that when the people are looking your image, they have to feel the same
Hmm.
than when you are doing
As
the
you were.
picture.
Yeah.
you know so that's mean to be close to the driver, to maybe to make the focus on one point, and just to make that the people, when they are looking the picture, they feel the driver, they feel the smell of the driver, or the emotion of the driver when they are on the grid, when they are on the podium, when they are and that feel to be feeling mean maybe joy or sadness, you know
Hmm.
or when they are totally destroyed because it was a difficult race for them or difficult quality. So and you have just few seconds to catch this one. So you have to make choice. Sometimes, for example, in the Parc Fermé, I'm not properly focused on a first, first driver, the best timing. Like maybe if I saw another driver, just with a, for me, I feel something, I try to catch this one. So yeah.
Okay.
So to give you answer about maybe the way I decide to be on this position or to think before my images, the way I will do. Uh, I try, as I said before, new things, and just to, I will take some risk to do. Okay, I will be here. If I tell you one example on a podium, as you know, I'm attending the podium with a driver. If I decide to use maybe long lens, and depend how the driver are moving on the podium, maybe I should do, and to get the shot, the proper shot, or maybe I will miss a lot.
Yeah.
But that's the part of the risk, That's mean, okay, maybe I have 50%, I'm quite sure I will do something good, but the
That's
rest
always
is,
a risk. Yeah.
So it's risky, but, that's the way I will do that. Yeah. And
So
it's more emotional for me. The feeling is best. And yeah.
something you just said about the photos that you take, you're trying to transmit what you're seeing and what you're feeling when you're taking that photo on the track. And I'm very interested in the way you think about slow shutters, right? Because it is kind of difficult for people to, well, myself sometimes, to decide which one is a good photo or a great photo that is a low shutter speed. I have some criteria that, there's, I'm trying always to get the focus on the helmet, even if it's a very slow shutter speed. But sometimes even, I mean, the helmet may not be even seen because it's a very low shutter. And some of your photos, for example, that have, a lot of movement, a lot of sparks. So there may be nothing sharp, but what the image is telling you, the feeling that is giving you. So explain to me what is your criteria to define good photos and in that sense, in the artistic sense, and the low shutter speeds?
If you are talking about focus, I will say that you have to be focused on one point, on the car, the helmet for sure. But if you get a picture with a very strong, aesthetic and powerful image, maybe you could imagine that this shot, you want to keep this one. But when I'm doing slow shutter, that means proper slow shutter. On the selection I did, maybe I didn't get as slow as I, I will do sometime, or I will test sometime. But I have in mind maybe some images in Saudi. I try to do maybe half-second images. So but yeah, depend the results, depend what you did. But for sure, I think you have to be very critics yourself, just to say, okay, this one no, this one not. And if I'm honest, I will not say when I'm doing 30 clicks, half second, I will get 30 images proper to to be no.
Yeah. Yeah,
So yeah, the focus. Yeah, you have still to get on focus point on the car or on the helmet, or yeah, you have to do that.
yeah, because that is something that I see happening in social media and the Instagram pages of Formula One. It's something I discussed with another guest, that maybe because of the rush to publish things quickly, sometimes the quality is not very well kept, or they didn't apply a good filter. But sometimes I see some photos that it's low shutter, but quality is not there,
Um,
or doesn't tell, like what you were saying,
yeah,
emotion, right?
yeah. But um, uh, as you said before, that's mean to do quick and not to be maybe uh, uh, it's difficult. It's difficult to discuss about what the other people are doing, and the
Yeah,
way because you never know what people on the top are asking to them, and
correct,
the way they have to work. So I could just said on my side, if I'm not happy with what I did, I will not edit.
correct.
I will. I
Yeah,
will not. I will not send anything. So, yeah, yeah,
that's a very good point. It's
yeah,
your criteria. Other
exact,
people have different criterias. So
exact.
let me ask you. You mentioned also how the new generations are probably approaching their photography. But when you are trackside, if you see someone younger, maybe a rookie taking photos, what would you say that are the most common mistakes they do when they are taking photos for their first few races? Or
Um, and I think the first things is security.
Mm,
Sometimes
yeah,
it's happened, and I try to be very kind when I saw, young guys or young girls taking some risk, or not. Not doing on the proper way. That's mean, as you know, we have some red zone, but sometimes it's not just a question of red zone. It's just a question to understand that at 350 kilometers, the car are running more faster than I could imagine. When you are looking through your lens.
yeah,
So sometimes it's happened, and I try to be kind and just to say, uh, um, what the position you get maybe should be dangerous. That's one point. Uh, other point. Other point. I don't remember properly to say or to tell anything to other photographer in general. Just uh,
security,
yeah,
safety.
I think that security and safety uh, and if you, maybe I don't know if you remember or you have been there, but when Zoo, the Chinese driver, first corner in Silverstone crashed, and if I remember well, maybe 2 or 3 photographers was close to the car, and we didn't know because the medical car was not at this moment arriving close to him, and we didn't know exactly how he was, and photographer were there and trying to catch some images, and so we just put the camera on the floor, and some of the photographer around me, some close friends, we were really surprised, and we are properly unhappy that the way they work, but maybe it was the first Grand Prix. Maybe they didn't know the way to do. Maybe they have the pressure of the agency. I don't know. But, we
Yeah,
have some rules, and not written, by FIA, but just the way we have to work, and this kind of decision, shall I continue to make some picture, or maybe, it's not acceptable, so security, and maybe the way to work and the way to respect the other one. As you know, in life in general, some people appreciate you, someone didn't, but
yeah,
we have to work together. As I said before, we are coming from many countries with different culture, with different maybe behavior and expectation. So for example, for young photographer, I could understand that they will try to catch maximum things, because they
Yeah.
have one Grand Prix, maybe just to, and they are, it's new, it's totally new for them, so they try to catch maximum thing to be on the pit lane, but sometimes they will get some risk, and so just
That's that's very important. And a couple of examples that I can mention. For example, in Vegas or other street circuits, that the cars are coming very close to you,
yeah,
and we're always told, not to get our hand or our head outside the window.
yeah,
Sometimes when you're on a straight, you have to lean a little bit, otherwise you won't
yeah,
be able to get the car right, and
yeah,
that's fine. But I've seen some guys that they have actually put the camera inside the track, like
yeah,
extending their arms completely. And like you said, I mean, I told them very, in a nice manner, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. It's dangerous. And the other part, as you said, is young photographers, people that are new in the paddock, that are trying to get the shots, but they completely disregard all the other photographers and
yeah,
everybody else in the back, and they're blocking the
no,
shot. And
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so that's something that we have to learn to work together with people. Otherwise, you're gonna be identified as that's the guy that it's always getting in front of everybody else, and you're not gonna last in the
So
paddock.
sometimes it should happen, it should happen. You are on the shot, you are not, because we are using long lens, so sometimes it could happen that.
Yeah, it happens.
So yeah, but
But
I'm
get the
still
shot and move out.
I'm still looking around, and when
Yeah.
I decide to move a little bit, I'm still looking if if I am on a shot,
Hmm.
not only from the my other colleagues, but uh, a lot of time, with the live cameraman, because when I'm close to the driver, I should be on a shot of the live camera, and so it will be it will be this kind of issue,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
yeah.
So Mario, let me ask you about going back to what it means to work for Formula One. You have a lot of access that, like you said, it's only three photographers. But other than access, what are the extra responsibilities that you have that probably everybody else doesn't have? Like, is there anything that we or any freelancers or agency photographers don't have to comply with, but you have to because you're part of Formula One? You have to be very careful. Do not do this. Do not do that. Do you have any specific strict responsibilities?
First of all, as you know, because you saw me, I'm wearing an uniforms, so that's mean,
Well, that let me ask you. Let
yeah,
me make a
yeah,
comment on that, because
yeah,
when I started, you
yeah,
were just wearing a black T-shirt, and I
yeah,
didn't know who you were, and I was always like, "Who's that guy?
yeah.
He's not even wearing a vest at the bar."
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm a representative of Formula One.
yeah,
When people saw me, or when people saw me on TV, because unfortunately, as I said before, maybe just 1 second I will be on a shot, and the
yeah,
live camera are just in front of me.
yeah,
So maybe the way I do, maybe the way uh, yeah I for sure I have a responsibility, because I'm wearing equipment with the clothes with the F1 logo on it, so I have to be
hmm,
respectful, and to be kind, and the way I work,
yeah,
so sometimes, as you said before, you should have a guy in front of you, so maybe sometimes you are involved, or you will be maybe shouting. It's not the way I could work, So, but I have the experience, and my age will say, for me, it's totally normal to yeah. If I get the chance at one point to work for Formula One, I think that that's mean I was able to do that, the way
yeah,
I used to be, because people was looking at me, and and now it's still the same, access is one point, but I have to respect some rules. I have to, and sometimes I have to ask,
Yeah.
when I have a special request, maybe to, or I ask before. I asked before to the producer, or I'm in touch with many people just to say, okay, I would like to be on this position during this special event. Do you think it should be, I will be able to do? And sometimes is yes, quite 80% of the time is yes, but some 20% of time it should be no for reason. I have to respect this one.
Yeah.
So I'm really free to catch and to do my job because they know that if I ask, I have a special request. That means I will try to catch something special. But sometimes, for technical reason or just for safety, uh, that
It's
the
not
way I have
possible.
to, that the way I have to work.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know.
Okay. So let me ask you something else about emotion. That is something that you're always trying to capture, and you're getting it most of the time. So almost always. But how do you anticipate, for example, podium celebrations, or when the drivers are coming out of their cars, or when they are getting into their cars? How do you anticipate those moments? I mean, it's a lot of experience that you've had, but how do you build those moments or patterns of where you should be located, how you should catch the driver, their faces? Tell me a little bit more about that process for you, how you think.
First of all, as we said before, we were talking about maybe not to be on a shot. So for me,
Hmm.
it's first previously to have a look to the environment and the position I will be able to be, not to disturb anybody, and uh, and not to run. I try to be, at one point, one position, and to understand that at this position, I will be maybe the only one to be there for sure. But I will be able to do many images, not running after the driver or not running, and changing too much places.
Hmm.
So I know which position the driver is able to be. That's mean in a parc fermé, for example. Uh, if I'm looking just to get the driver going out of the car, and to show something and to get in front of all the photographer, it makes no sense. I will do the same images that the other one, and maybe I will disturb them because I will be in front of them. And
Yeah.
the most important for me is never talk to the driver. I never ask them to get a position or to do something special. I'm just here to be a witness of what happened and never interrupt. Is the reason why if you ask me if I have some close friend driver, if I'm close to the driver, my the first thing I will do or I will say to you is transparency. That means I will not exist in front of them. They didn't know my name, they didn't know my face. For sure they know because, Grand Prix
You've
after
been
Grand
there.
Prix, they know that, at least they know my face. If they don't know my name, they know my face. But I quite never talk to them, except for, some driver like Charles or Pierre, if they are doing well, uh, I will tell something maybe at the end of the celebration, but I keep my camera in my arms and I try to still continue to do, okay, when they are coming back, I will do something. Uh, in the selection I did, when you are ready we could have a look to the image. For example, the first win of Kimi Antonelli in China,
Hmm.
when he's coming back from the podium, I could imagine I could do something. So he was alone with the trophy. The reflection on the glasses was nice, so I tried to compose something and to do something. But
Yeah.
it's very quick. It's very quick, and but never interact with them and never ask them to do something special because it's posing image. It's not emotional images.
That
So
is that is so interesting, Mario,
yeah,
because
yeah.
Yeah, you're very respectful and you're trying to be transparent, but other photographers, I've seen them asking for the drivers,
It's a
you know.
different way to work. It's
Yeah,
it's I would not say it's better or it's worse.
it's just
I just say it's the way the way
the
I
way you
used
do
to.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to work, and to get at the limit of the focus, because we were talking about slow speed, and the way you could imagine it's a good image or a bad image. For me, focus is at the limit of your eyes. That's mean. Uh, if I'm using a lens 85, for example, and I'm using a full aperture 1.2, I try to catch portrait until the limit. When the driver is coming close to me, I try to get the image, even if I didn't see properly what I did.
Hmm.
If I get the focus on the eyes, just on the eyes, I
Yeah.
1.2, I get the image. And when I
Yeah.
said before, when I show my picture or the people are looking to my picture, they will feel the same emotion that I feel close to the driver. Right? You smell the driver.
Hmm.
Uh, I get the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have
It's
to,
great.
you don't have to move. You don't have to interact with the driver. You have just to keep your eyes in the visor and just to try to do something,
Yeah.
yeah, more powerful. Yeah.
Okay. Mario, let me ask you, in all these years that you've been working Formula One and knowing so many people, knowing so many photographers, some are able to last for many years, others don't last many years. What would you say is one or several characteristics of the people that are able to have long careers in Formula One?
That's a tricky one. Yeah. As I said at the beginning of the interview, when you ask me what the huge change, the big change between when I start and today, I said before, there are more and more freelance photographer. I think today to maybe, yeah, I think except um, photographer working for the team or for the drivers, personal photographer. I think today you have no choice. You have to be involved in in agency, huge agency. So I think the way to be able to continue and to work, season after season, is to be involved with this kind of structure, because
Yeah,
so for me, it should be the most important is yeah, the choice, you know or or you are maybe try to you are able to get enough money to spend, and hoping at the end you should have a huge contract, because you are developing your own style, as I said before, your signature. And it was in one way, it was the way I start to work, you know um, but if I'm honest, I was not sure to reach something,
yeah.
I was not sure to be F1 F1 photographer at the end, a proper one,
Hmm.
So it make the right decision, meet the right people, and of course work a lot,
Yeah,
because that's the most important,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mario. Let me ask you about, we talked briefly about social media and the impact that this has had in the last few years. I mean, it's several factors, right? It's the drive to survive, and recently, last year, Formula One movie, but also all the exposure in social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. How much does that affect what you decide to post in your personal account?
um, First of all, for me, social media on my side is limited to Instagram. I'm not producing anything else. or I'm not posting in different way than Instagram. And at the beginning, I created this account just because one of my uh, uh, the brand I use, I'm working for Nikon, and so I have some agreement with Nikon, and the only thing they say or they asked me is to be involved in social media. So Instagram was the best way to do something. So when I begin with Instagram just a few years ago, I was not properly interesting and involved in social media. Today, the huge difference is that some photographers uh, are using social media just to get money, you know. And we have some example around us that people are, using properly Instagram or YouTube or different way just to produce and to get some money. It's not on my side. It's not the way I will do. It's just to show. I never show different things that might shot. As you know, we are not able to film. We have to respect the rules. So I never show car action shot or action video of the car. We are not allowed to do that. Or on track walking with the car running. We are not allowed to do that even. So for me, yeah, it's not a way to get money. It just because it was the proper time to have an Instagram account and to show. Yeah, and the only interest for me is not to be famous. I'm not looking for that. Not to reach million of followers. But it's very interesting. It was brand. It's why it's quite new for me, just to have interaction with people around the world. Just to show your work and to get a feedback of what they appreciate or to have some. And I'm quite lucky. I didn't get any haters. I didn't get no.
Yeah, no, no,
I
no.
did.
Yeah, I mean, how could you get haters, Mario? I mean, you're the kindest, the nicest person there. You're never
no, but
throwing
that's
shade at anybody.
yeah, but the way the way you feel and but no, you never know. You never
Oh
know.
yeah,
But so yeah, it's cool when I post not a lot, few times. I'm not spending a lot of time to post on Instagram. When I post some image, yeah, now I feel it's like I feel I know some people around the world, because we are in
yeah.
touch. They are really kind. They are really kind. So as I say, when they say, okay, thank you, I say, no, thanks to you, because I'm happy to share. And if you, as I said before, if you feel something emotional when you have a look to my picture, I'm happy for that. Yeah.
So with those people that interact with you, I'm sure that a lot of them ask you how to get into Formula One. What do you tell them?
I'm always taking the time to give an answer, first of all, because as I said before, when I start in 97, one people opened the door, So I'm still keeping in mind when I was younger, when I start, some people are, kind and helpful. So I try to do that. Depend the way people asking.
Oh yeah.
If I'm be honest, depend the way. It's so, but in 90% of people asking, I'm still give them an answer, and maybe the first advice, because they are focused on Formula One. I said to them, you can do maybe your brother on a mopeds. If you are able to do a nice shot of your brother on a mopeds, on the streets, you are able to shoot Formula One car.
Yeah.
So try just not thinking about how I could, I will be involved, or I will be a F1 photographer. It's not a question of to be a F1 photographer. It's to take your times and just to try to get your own signature and your own work. If you are to do that today, the huge step or huge difference between I start, you have social media. If you show something different on Instagram, I'm quite sure you will find a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. No?
Yeah, it is true. And it just reminded me what you said about just shooting someone on a moped. When I was studying, I would take my camera and just go out to the street, just next to the freeway or even like a small street, and start doing panning shots. And some people,
Yeah.
they were looking at me like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
I tried to hide as much as possible, but I didn't have many races to go. So that was for me the way to learn how to do the proper panning shots.
Exact.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could develop your own style when you are at the beginning. It's no matter of the subject. It's just okay.
Yeah.
You have to understand how does it works with speed, with the composition of the image, with the way the light is working on the on the subject and this kind. But so yeah, I'm quite every time I try to get the time to give an answer and just to but that
Okay.
yeah.
All right, Mario, let's go quickly now into the sprint race questions. So these are going to be just quick questions, quick answers.
Okay.
What's favorite track to shoot?
We'll tell first, of course, but it's easy, huh? My name. So with the tifosi in Italy, it's always a huge feeling. It's not only the question of the track. Monza is especially. I couldn't say it's my favorite. It depends the level you feel. That's mean if you are just looking for the best track, the best shot you could do on track. For me, it's global. That's mean the country, the people, the level of the fans. Involved in this kind of sport. Hopefully we were talking about the change, huge change between when I start and now. What Formula One is looking, well, more and more fans, more and more young fans. So it's the show is great, and the environment now is full of people, crowd of people, and young guys, young girls.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. Now it's really exciting. But if I just to be able to make a list, I would say, of course, Monza.
And what is your favorite track in terms of how they treat the media, like the media center, the catering, the shuttles? Who do you think is doing the best job in there?
I could not answer. The only thing I could tell you, I'm really happy that FIA now ask all the media after the Grand Prix, to say, okay, it was nice. Maybe we could, maybe they will, And if you have a look to the previous year, I could say that some Grand Prix are more involved now, or are more it's more important for them just to welcome properly the media and to do
better
good
job,
better job, better hospitality, better they know that we are working hard and we need a good environment
they're listening.
Exact. So FIA did a proper job just to put this one, and so it's a good.
I agree with you.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? What would you say it's your most memorable race? I mean, it's been a lot of races, but one that you can probably say that was my favorite for personal reasons or whatever reason.
If we are talking about photography and images, it's not my favorite shot. But if we are still talking about emotion, in the selection I did, Lewis on the top of the car in front of the crowd in Mexico for victory was a huge moment, because you have a huge crowd in front of you. He's doing something I were not expecting properly, and so yeah. Mexico. This one was was great. Yeah,
Mexico.
Mexico.
So, what's your favorite lens, Mario?
200 millimeter f2.
F2. Okay.
Yeah, that I'm using at 2 full aperture.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
How many lenses do you usually carry for, let's say, for the race?
8.
8.
Yeah. Fixed lens. I'm using fixed lens. So yeah, I think yeah.
But are you talking about for the race weekend or just for Sunday?
Now for the with me, carrying with me,
Yes, carrying with you.
no, carrying
Yeah,
with
like
me.
how?
No, carrying with me. Usually, the two body, 2 lenses, and maybe 1 or 2 spare in my bag.
Okay.
So yeah, 4
Yeah.
lenses. Yeah.
Okay.
4,
Okay.
yeah. 4.
How can you carry 8 lenses, Mario?
No.
Do you shoot RAW or JPEG?
RAW file.
Always.
I'm doing both RAW and JPEG file. Same shot, just in case I have to send, quickly to get the images, some key shots, key moments. So, but I'm still doing RAW. Yeah. And I'm editing and developing my RAW files. Yeah.
Do you use Lightroom or Photoshop or both?
No, not Lightroom, no Photoshop. I'm using old software of Nikon. I'm an old style guy. So yeah.
What do you use?
It's NX2. Capture NX. It's a old software, very old one. But I have my my setup, and yeah. As I said before, I'm trying to when I'm delivering my images, it's quite different images, So that means I get to take the time. Yeah, I'm no mechanics. It's not automatic development.
Yeah, I like your setup. Now that you say you always put your headphones, you have your cover for the screen, and then you have a tablet where you are doing all the movements.
Yeah, because
editing.
The way you feel when you are editing, you will produce different images. I could have the same RAW, same image, if I did my editing on Monday, or if I did on Wednesday. If depend,
how you're feeling. Yes,
exactly. Depend how I'm feeling. I'm doing different way, so it's not automatic editing, and I'm not using presets. That's mean, for sure I'm using some setup on my camera. That mean, I try to produce the image as close as the result I will get at the end, but it's not with preset or automatic setup on the software. So
you don't use Lightroom, Photoshop, and you don't use presets.
No.
What would you say it's the least favorite part of your job, the part that you don't enjoy that much?
I try to still enjoying everything, but for sure the part is traveling. Traveling, jet lag, especially now with 24 Grand Prix. Used to be 24, but 24 Grand Prix. Sometimes triple leaders, especially Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi. We are one part of the world, and we are going straight to the opposite. For the body and the mind, is sometimes it's a huge gymnastic, So that's I will say traveling for sure. I'm really lucky since 28 years. I'm traveling a lot around the world. I know many places, many countries,
Hmm.
many cities where I feel at home, quite at home, not at home, but it's very for me. Uh, I could stay in São Paulo and I know the street, I know the place I stay, I know some restaurants, some bars, I know
Hmm.
some people
Yeah,
sometimes. So that's incredible. We have an incredible life, but the
yeah,
other side, traveling a lot like this, sometimes it's a bit hard physically. So
yeah.
sometimes it's hard. Yeah,
I remember last when was it the first year that we did Vegas. I remember that we were staying very late, and there was one day when we actually
yeah,
left when it was already
yeah,
the sunrise,
exact,
and then the
exact.
next day, everybody was saying, "Hey, good morning," but it was already
Yeah,
like 4 p.m. and I was like, "It's not good morning now; it's
no,
good
no,
afternoon," But
no, no, no.
sometimes with the jet lag and all that. Right, Mario. So let's move now into just describing some of these photos that you sent me, some of your favorite shots. And we're going to start with one of the most recent ones. And you briefly mentioned this one about
Yeah,
Kimi.
yeah. First week of Kimi. Right? Yeah, as I said before, yeah, I just stand up in front of him when he was coming back from the celebration on the podium, just before joining the two other driver in a cool down room, and yeah,
This is in China, right?
yeah, yeah, exact, yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah,
This photo of Lewis, this is amazing. When was this taken?
was in Sochi. You should have maybe
I'll check the date, but
yeah,
tell
the
me
date.
about the tell
Oh,
me
it's
about
a,
this photo.
oh, it's a funny story. In fact, you could see that it was the grid girls. Usually, they put
Hmm.
they bring the grid girl in the corridor after the podium. So I
Yeah.
asked the Russian girl, if they were happy to make a shot with Lewis, who was the winner of the Grand Prix. So
Hmm.
they was standing there. Lewis was coming. I just asked Lewis to stand in the middle of the girls, and he gave his phone to this physio and
Hmm.
asked him to make the shot. So when he saw that I was trying to do the shot, I, I was organizing, he
Yeah.
tried to put his hand in front of my lens.
Oh, oh, so he was trying to stop you there.
That made the image. If I was if
Yes.
so I could say thanks, thanks to Louis to react like this, but
Yes.
it was the beginning of the social media. So
Hmm.
I think that Louis was more interesting to get the shot for maybe social media or
Yeah.
for well, it was at the beginning of the social media. So he was yeah, he was thinking maybe I will not do the shot or I don't know. So but I never
Yeah.
stopped.
Yeah.
So I did the shot.
That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Okay. And this one, this is amazing.
So this one is on Abu Dhabi. At the
Hmm.
end of the season, he was world champion, and I was a bit surprised that he removed his
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 driver's suit.
yeah, his rubber suit, and just to show his back and
Yeah.
his tattoo. So yeah, yeah. I think you can imagine the feeling of this guy. It was the
Yeah.
end of the season. It was happiness. So yeah,
Hmm.
uh, if you know a bit Lewis, today he's controlling he's controlling a lot of his
Yes.
images.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
he's the iconic driver
Hmm.
actually. So it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah. I
Yeah. In
like the
this
I like
moment,
I like this picture because I feel that Lewis was really happy, and
yes.
he make he didn't stop him. He just let him feeling the emotion, and it was nice. It was a
Yeah. He
nice
just
moment.
let go and
Exact,
yeah.
exact,
Yeah.
exact, exact.
Great. This one, Mario. Sparks.
Well, yeah, we were talking about night race and
Hmm.
try to catch something strong for me. Yeah, the sparks and yeah, uh, yeah.
Where
It's
is this?
in Bahrain.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Bahrain. Yeah,
What shutter speed did you use here?
I think maybe tenths,
110.
tenths or eights. Yeah,
Hmm.
tenths or eights. Yeah, yeah.
I remember in Bahrain last year, you were next to me, and that was on the restart they had. And I didn't know if there were going to be sparks. You
Yeah,
knew because, like you said, you have more experience. That was the first time that I was there. And you were prepared to take the slow shutter speed on that photo that I took next to you, but I used like a 250 or something like that, like
mm,
safer shutter speed. And I got the sparks as well, but not in the artistic way as you did them because I didn't know they were going to go like not on the racing line. And that's where they were going to get a lot of sparks. And you
yeah.
got those shots very, very nicely, something like this.
As we said before, you have to take some risk, and you have to
Yeah.
understand that maybe you will miss something.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or so, but
Yeah, you got this. This is the one you were describing earlier, right?
yeah,
But Lewis,
exact. Yeah, yeah,
this is in Mexico
yeah,
City.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was not expecting he will get this position, and since these images in Mexico, they are still doing, the elevator with the car, and it was the only one to do that. Yeah,
Hmm. And this one, where is this?
I think it was in Austin, in America. I think so. In Austin or maybe in Brazil.
Oh, yes, I remember. Because
No, I think it's Brazil. Yeah, I think it's Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I have one in when was it? 2018, I think, and he was also with the flag when he won the championship. But I'm not sure. Yeah, if you said this is
Uh,
Brazil.
yeah.
This is beautiful as well. I mean, and that's showing, the light, the motion, contrast. Pretty cool. Wow.
Parabolica in Monza. Um,
This
as we
is
said, as we said before, if you are trying to do soul shutter, you were talking about focus. If you have a look to this one, the helmet is focus,
yes, yeah, exactly.
and you feel the speed and yeah, it's plenty
It,
of color. So yeah,
yeah, you can see the tires here.
yeah,
You can see the Renault here and the colors of the car, and then the
yeah,
helmet, the central figure. Yeah, that's what
exact.
makes it a great photo. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can spend 1 hour and even didn't get one of this. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Reflection, and the light is very important. The
Yes.
way I try to do this one, if I remember well, was during a Barcelona test a few years
Hmm.
ago, and when the light is there, when you understand how your position, because the most important is where you stay.
Hmm.
Uh, I think the car was in the pit lane, just turning back for a few laps before going in the garage. And yeah, I have some elements in front of me, able to do this kind of reflection. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Beautiful. Charles.
But people sometimes could not imagine the way they prepare themselves. The driver are preparing themselves, just before the start.
Hmm.
Uh, I was lucky enough to be close to uh, and talk to some Formula One driver the way they feel when the start is going, and in their mind,
Hmm.
what they feel, first corner. It's so fast, so quick. So I'm always really respectful, even if I try to be close to the driver, very close to catch the face. We could see Charles at this one, I think so. But
The next
yes,
one. Yes.
yeah, sometimes, yeah, I like the position he gets. Yeah,
This
like
one.
this, like this. Uh, I'm lucky to be able to, to feel or to have the be when I'm looking this picture, I'm what the first thing I will think it. What is he thinking properly at this moment?
Yes.
You know, what is
What is
because
on his mind?
the preparation of every driver are totally different. Some are talking to the physio, talking to the mechanics, and some of them are uh, um, the way that they are just few seconds before jumping in a car, it's different. It's different. Yeah.
And this photo is what you said before. I mean, if you are shooting at 2.0 or
Yeah.
1.2, you
That
got the focus on the eye.
the example. That's the
Yeah.
proper example of what I said before.
Yeah. And this is the final one. Monza.
Monza.
It's amazing. Amazing.
The fans. We have been to Japan just a few weeks ago. So when we are talking about the exciting of to be in Japan and to meet the Japanese fan, because they are incredible, wearing a proper suit. But Italy is, uh, is not just because I'm have Italian blood, but it's incredible to feel the crowd like this and to be able to be on the top of this scenery. So for me, every time it's a huge moment because I know that they will produce something incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't been to Monza yet. I have to plan
You
it
have,
for the
you,
next upcoming years. So
yeah.
you were here at the top of the podium. Where are the other photographers usually located?
On a wall or middle of the
Here.
crowd, but it's a bit tricky to be a huge fan, and they are sharing a unique moment, because they wait a lot just to be able to be closer to the driver, closer to the podium, and they are and they are part of the image, they
Yes.
are
Yeah.
part of this scenery, so they are proper actor of what I could catch, and
And
the result of this one without the tifosi on,
it's just an amazing sea of people. Like you can see all the way there.
it's
It's a lot of people, and that's the enjoyment of being there at the celebration and just being on the track. Just
yeah,
makes them so happy. Same thing that I saw in
exact,
on Interlagos.
yeah,
At the end they were chanting for Senna. It's
yeah,
just great
exact,
feeling.
exact.
Okay, Mario, thank you so much for all these photos. And now, just want to ask you one final question, and I'm going to let you go because you've been very generous with your time.
That's my
So,
pleasure.
thank you so much, Mario. So, what would you tell? What would your advice be to someone that wants to become a great photographer? Not just a good one, but a great photographer.
I will tell you something personal feeling. When I was more than 20 years old, I was at the university, but to tell you the truth, I didn't use any camera before 23 years old. I didn't know properly what photography means. So that means it was a bit late, but I was lucky enough to meet one photographer one day, and he would like to share his experience and to show me how this camera, Nikon FM2, works, So I start like this. And for me, the feeling I get just in few days with the camera, that it was easy. It was an easy way just to write something, to create something. Why I say that? Because for me, maybe it was difficult to write a story. or
Mm-hmm.
to tell a story. And it was the feeling I get. It was easy to tell a story with the images. You understand? So
Yeah.
I think for maybe people starting, if you have this kind of feeling, just be free, because before you need to produce something because people are paying you. Just feel free to create something new. As I said before, just to get your signature, your proper style. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the most important. And maybe the only advice I will be able to tell to people just looking to be, F1
Yeah.
photographer. I was lucky to discover this one because, at my stage and my age, sometimes I'm just thinking about that. What your life look like today if I didn't make this photographer at 23 years old? You
Yeah.
know, what kind of job I was able to do. So if, and I'm still enjoying what I did. I'm still enjoying this work. I'm still enjoying, to catch, the scenery and to be a witness of this kind of event, huge event as the Grand Prix. But at the beginning, I just feel something different. So, you know, and and not to try to reproduce the image you see, just to be blind of what the other people are doing. For sure, you have to learn. As we said before, technically, I was not, producing maybe the best thing at the beginning. You have to. It took times, you know.
Yeah.
But the most important is to try to do something you like, not to do the same than the other one. So yeah.
Okay, Mario. So thank you so much for all your insights. It is one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast, because we chat, we talk at the media center, at the paddock sometimes, but there are so many stories, and I wanted to know a little bit more about the persons behind the cameras. And you have provided me and provided us, everybody who's watching and listening, a lot of insights. And yeah, I think it's just great to know the way you work, your philosophy, and the respect that you have for the profession and for other people. So really, thank you so much, Mario.
Thanks to you. Gracias a ti. And I hope we share more moment together in the future. And I hope the people who were looking this video will appreciate, and thank you for the effort to show my face, maybe around the world. And
Yeah.
I hope that the young photographer will have the um, same joy to start. And yeah, I'm quite sure, because I'm more at the end than at the beginning. So we need the new blood. And but yeah,
Yeah.
I hope that if I could give some advice and to share my experience, that's a real pleasure.
It,
Thanks.
it is
Well,
amazing, Mario, how
well,
and it was one question that I had that I didn't even have to ask you, because I was going to ask you how do you keep enjoying what you do. But throughout the conversation, you just showed me in everything you said that you are still enjoying it as much
yeah.
as you did at the beginning, and that is great to hear, and that is a good example.
Thanks. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Mario, and see you soon in Miami.
See you. Ciao.
All right,
Ciao.
ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.